I recently reached a really big personal milestone of being 6 months sober. Today, I'm going to be talking about alcohol. I'm going to talk about my relationship with it, why I stopped, and what happened when I did stop. Because honestly, none of it is what I expected at all. This journey's been so much different to what I would have expected maybe 6 months ago. Just a quick disclaimer before I get started, I am not telling you what to do with your own drinking. I am not anti-alcohol. I'm not anti other things. You do you. You do you. Whatever you want to do, you do it. Um, I'm just here to share my story in the hopes it helps others because for me, alcohol was negatively impacting my life and my world. I'm not going to be preachy. I'm just going to tell you my story. And if it resonates, I hope it helps. So I want to start this story off with honestly just a bit of clarity around my situation, right? Because it's very important for me to say it wasn't addiction. I've not been going through any sort of addiction or anything like that. I wasn't drinking at home, didn't drink alone, wasn't sneaking it, nothing like that. But if I went on nights out or to a big party, drinking for me was compulsive. Brits, we often have a reputation for binge drinking, but this was like properly overdoing it most times I went out. And it had been a problem for a long time. Like, if I'm being really honest with myself, which it's horrible being honest with yourself, isn't it? But if I look back, it had been a problem for a very, very long time. And the worst thing about all of it is the regrets. And I would get this crippling anxiety the next day with looping questions of, you know, did I say something stupid? What foolish thing did I do? Did I upset someone? Did I have a complete meltdown or a panic because I was so overstimulated and I couldn't think straight? And the answer to most of those questions was usually yes. There was at least one or more of those happened after every single night out where I'd have way too much to drink, found that I couldn't really stop myself. It was compulsive, kept going. And then I'd just the next day feel terrible. And it's not just feeling terrible, like mentally anxious wise. It's like the hangover and the sheer amount of time it takes to recover. So usually for me, it would take me a good couple of days to start feeling human again. I just feel like a shell of myself for that whole time. And then let's think about the cost, right? Like the amount of money I've drank away on nights out, like in this economy, like Jesus, it's so expensive. It's just existing these days. And I'm usually so good with my budgeting. Like I'm meal prep and I'm so careful with my money. Yet on a night out, I'd easily drink away like 50, 100 quid and be like, oh no. But you're not conscious to think about it, like, especially when you tap your phone these days to pay, you're not really seeing the money go over. You're not really comprehending how much you're spending. Often you don't even see the number on the reader anyway. Um, but what I realized was that for me, I'm so good with money usually. And for me, money is my freedom. It's what enables me to live a life I love, to travel, to go on adventures, to see my friends, to do nice things. And it just started weighing heavily that I was drinking away so much money. And usually I'm also really active. I love to go to the gym. I eat well. Like I'm the sort of person who meal preps, who tries to get enough protein to achieve my strength and fitness goals. And I'd go for one night out and completely destroy so much of what I built up. I'd destroy my good mental health that I might have been working hard to achieve. I'd ruin some of my progress at the gym. I'd end up missing gym sessions. And again, this is not to say people shouldn't drink. It's not that I think alcohol's evil or any of that. It's just for me, it's compulsive. And I see a lot of other people who do podcasts and things getting slammed saying, oh, I had 2 drinks and it ruined their day. But the thing is, maybe it did. Maybe it did ruin their day and they don't like it and that's their choice. But if you want to have 2 drinks and you're fine, you do you. Like, again, totally not here to tell you what to do, just sharing my experience. So with all of that in mind, 6 months ago, I decided to cut out drinking. And I did this before I even knew I had ADHD. Those of you who are regulars to the podcast know I'm already questioning whether I'm ADHD, and I'm really open about my journey with that. And I realized that neurodivergence has had a big impact on one of the reasons why I drink, or at least why I used to. And so honestly, my drinking, it was definitely a problem. Like I had an alcohol problem, even though it wasn't an addiction. And that ADHD diagnosis gave me a lot of insight into why it was happening. And for me, binge drinking isn't about the alcohol. Like, I don't actually like being out of control or being drunk. I never really liked that. Certainly didn't like the after effects. But for me, the drinking, it gave me more dopamine. It was definitely dopamine seeking behavior. And my brain gets like simultaneously stimulated and happy, and it just wants more of that. But then it also dulled a lot of the sensory sensitivities. And I think that's a huge part around my socializing, is that if I'm sober and I go into a loud room or a bar with sticky tables or it's dark, I'm like, actually, I just want to be outside in the sun. If there's music that's too loud, if there's people that are shouting and getting a bit leery, it's not my vibe. But when I drank, it didn't bother me. And so I think it was doing a lot to sort of numb the sensory sensitivities of, yes, some things that I know just aren't my vibe in general, like loud, shouty people, but the sticky tables, the slightly too loud atmosphere, all of those things that I definitely think are part of my presumed ADHD. And so once I understood all of this, yeah, that drinking made way more sense. And now I'm happy to say that 6 months in, I found a lot more healthy ways to cope with those things. Shout out loop earplugs, they get me through a night out. I can still go to a pub with my friends. I can still go to a club and dance. I just do it sober. I put in the loop earplugs, I'm protecting my ears. That's great. But there are other things that still make me go, ugh, like mucky toilets and sticky tables and all of that. I don't know if I'll ever be okay with those, but I can tolerate them in small doses. So I want to talk about why I decided to go completely sober rather than just limiting it, because I'm actually fine on if I go for a meal and there's a bottle of wine on the table and I share a bottle of wine with people and have like a glass, maybe two, I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. I don't do stupid stuff when I do that. But I realized that if I said that I still drank alcohol, I get so excited in certain social situations. I am a recovering people pleaser. I definitely get a lot of RSD that I know I would very easily fall into the trap of having just one to try and be sociable, to fit in with everybody. And then I'd have just one more. And I feel like for me, it would be harder and harder to say no. And it's also harder to set that boundary, right? If you say, I don't drink, that's a firm line in the sense like, I do not drink at all. People don't just go, oh, go on, just have one, which sometimes they do in social situations, right? Whereas, yeah, if I'd said, I just don't like to drink too much, they're like, yeah, go on, you want to. And then I'd have been kind of peer pressured into it because I know I'm susceptible to that. It just wouldn't have worked for me. I need the rule to be like a hard limit, not sort of a fuzzy one. So when I started this, I thought it was going to be really hard. I've got a couple of friends who don't drink, which makes things a bit easier. But my friend groups are all spread about. I've got like a bunch of golf friends. I've got all my game industry friends. I've got old, long-term friends. It's just all these people spread about and they're all very, very different. Some of them drink a lot. Some of them do other things. And for me to be sober, I was like, oh, I don't know how this is gonna work, right? And the UK, like, our culture is very much built around the pub, Friday night drinks, booze parties, like office beers, all of that. I was pretty sure I was going to be miserable. Honestly, I thought I wasn't going to be able to do it. I was really worried about the peer pressure. I thought I was going to cave in. And I was like, what happens when other people drink and I'm not? Like when they're really letting their hair down, they're having fun. Am I going to look like a party pooper? Will I be seen as the boring one? Like, I really thought people would think I wasn't fun anymore because, a big part of my identity is I'm known as the person who, when I go out, I want to go dancing. Like, I love dancing. I love like all my alt metal music. I just want to go dance. But the thing is, I want to do that when I'm sober anyway. I love dancing at home. So I realized that actually, maybe it would be okay. Maybe it'd be okay. Maybe it wouldn't be as hard as I thought. And turns out it's been absolutely fine. Like genuinely, I was really surprised. Really quite shocked. I have had more fun sober than I did on most of the nights out where I was drinking. I don't wake up with regrets. I can remember stuff. Like, I went to a conference recently, and historically, I would have drank a lot, and I'd have been at the parties, just turn off a dance for a few pints here and there, doing shots. I didn't do any of that. And then I was able to look at my phone and be like, oh, cool. Yeah, I've made these nice connections. I had a really good conversation here. I did all those things. Still had a dance, still had fun, still had a giggle, but I did it without making a complete ass of myself, frankly. And yeah, I've just not had those regrets. I've not had a single hangover. It means that I can do a night out, and even if I stay out late and miss my sleep schedule a wee bit, or I'm out till the early hours of the morning, the next day I'm still able to go to the gym. I can still drive. I'm not consuming junk food. I'm keeping everything else is fine. I'm just a wee bit more tired because I had a night out, which is fine. It's great. And one of the best things it's done for me is I feel like where my mask fell off, and I mentioned this in the ADHD episode. If you're interested in that, a few episodes ago, I talked all about that diagnosis and the journey. But now I'm fully unmasked. I'm just being me. When I go out on a night out now, I'm learning how to be me without needing that crutch, without needing the social lubricant to just chat. I can just go out and be me, fully authentic. I don't need the alcohol. And it's still an ongoing process. I have not yet done sober karaoke. I don't know if maybe one day. Maybe one day I'll do it. Maybe that's a challenge for myself to have the guts to do that, because I do enjoy a karaoke night. But I still dance. I will still have fun. I have a lovely time with my friends. And it's nice because I don't feel like I'm blindly pushing through, because I'm more aware of my energy levels now. Like, historically, I'd have gone out and I'd drink and I'd be like, oh God, it's like 4 a.m. And then I'm like stumbling through Edinburgh City Centre looking for an Uber home. Not particularly safe, right? And yet now it's like, oh no, I know my bus is going to be at like 1:30, 2, and I can still go get that bus and I can be safe getting home. And do you know what? Honestly, I really wish I'd done this years ago. I really do wish I'd done it years ago. It's made such a positive impact on my health, physical and mental. I feel like I'm way less anxious. I feel like I'm not messing up friendships, doing stupid things, because if I'm overstimulated, I recognize it now and I can pull away. I'm not having the meltdowns because all my sort of boundaries have just disintegrated. I can keep things a bit more level-headed. And so, as much as that's positive, I do want to talk about some of the things that are harder. I've touched on them a little bit. And yeah, I'm not going to say it's been completely easy, but it has been easier than I thought. So things that are still tough, loud spaces, especially clubs, they can be quite tough sober. Mostly it's because of, again, louder people. Like, people do get a lot more energetic when they're loud, which for me with the ADHD, I'm like, oh, that's a bit much. I do tend to wear loop earplugs when I go out now, not sponsored at all. They're just great. They live in my bag. I always have them with me. And the thing is, as much as that's harder, it's actually a good thing, right? Because now I'm more aware of the volume. I'm actually protecting my hearing. Before, I never thought about it. I never noticed how uncomfortably loud things often were. And I've still not worked out how to deal with some of the other sensory sensitivities I mentioned. The sticky floor, the sticky tables, the dirty toilets. But you know what? Maybe that's just not for me. And maybe I can just tolerate it for a few hours. But I'm like, would be nicer if it wasn't that, you know? I think that there's just one of those compromises, right? I'll take a few things where I'm a little bit uncomfortable if it means I can have a really good night out with my friends and do it sober. So yeah, I'm 6 months in. I'm absolutely loving it. I've recently put myself through those 2 big tests. So just mentioned the conference. I also did Copenhagen, the metal festival out in Denmark with my friends. One of my other friends there doesn't drink either, so that makes things a lot easier. But genuinely, I thought both of those things I'd struggle with, because the culture around both those is a lot of drinking. They're absolutely fine. In fact, for me, they were better than fine. Yeah, it was such a game changer for me. And I know that actually, if I look back, I would have had not as good a time if I'd been having alcohol. So that's a little bit of bit of summary of my last 6 months. Just wanted to share it because I feel like the more I share it, the more other people open up with it. It makes it more of a safe place for a conversation. Again, not here to tell you what to do. If you enjoy a drink, if you can handle a drink, you do you. Just, I know for me, I need to keep that boundary in place. And sometimes people say to me now, like, it's nice because some people congratulate me. No one's pushed my boundary. That's wonderful. I was worried that they would, but nobody has. And what has been really, really nice is most people are really, really supportive of it. Loads of bars now do alcohol-free beers, and some of them are really, really good because I like beer. I like the flavour of beer. So I can go out and I can have a beer, but it's alcohol-free. There are so many good options. I had a decent alcohol-free red wine the other day. So you can still, be part of it. You just don't have to have alcohol. For me, it's been really lovely. So for anybody who this is resonating with, who's wondering if this sort of journey might be worth it for them, even if they just want to try it for one night, a few months, 6 months, where I'm currently at, maybe you want to try doing it for forever, whatever it is, I want to do the usual thing where I sort of ask you some coaching style questions or give you a couple of actions just to make it a bit easier for you to get started. Again, I don't want this to be just my story. I want it to be useful. I'm not here to tell you what to do. So this is your chance to go make your own decision on it. So I want you to think about, like, when you have a really, really heavy night, what's it doing for you? Is it actually all positive? Are you totally okay? Is it really fun? Is it all good? Or is it numbing something? Is it causing you to have anxiety? Is it causing you to have regrets? Just honestly think about it. Think about maybe the last few that you've had and how you've felt afterwards. Question number 2, what is a story you're sort of telling yourself about what people will think if you don't drink? Like, even if it's just one night, if you go, tonight I'm not drinking, what are you imagining they're going to say? And then question it. Is it actually true? Or is it just what you've been told people will think because of society? And I would also say, if people are going to push your boundaries or disrespect you if you're trying to have a night off from not drinking, or if you want to go sober or whatever it is, question if those people are really your friends, if they're really your people, because my really good friends, no one's questioned it. They've all supported me, and I'm really thankful for that. No one's pushed that boundary, and I would hope your friends wouldn't do it either. If you're worried about that, it's really tricky. It's really tricky because sometimes those big changes, if your friends are all big drinkers, if they don't accept it, it can be really hard. It can make that decision even harder, but you got to do what's right for you. Okay, question number 3 is, I want you to think about, what would it feel like for you to go on a night out, but know that you've got all your wits about you to leave when you're tired, to set that boundary, to know, do you know what, I've got work next day. I'm going to go out at this time, have a good time, but I'm going to leave at blah so I get my good night's sleep. What would that feel like? Because I know for me, I never clocked when I was tired, when I was drinking. I would just go at it, and then the next day I'd be ruined and it would be exhausting. And I did this a lot in my 20s when I was at work, like working in an office, and that commute in the morning would be brutal. So think about how nice it might feel to be able to actually just be in tune with your own body and your energy levels, and to be able to clock when you're just not feeling it and when it's time to go home. And question number 4 for you is, think about, is there an occasion coming up where you could test it? Maybe you don't have to do it for forever. Maybe just do it once, just to see what actually happens. Because sometimes it's just about testing it. It's hard to put in a commitment. When I said I was cutting out drinking, I didn't know how long for. I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to try not drinking for a bit. I'm going to see how I get on. And before I've known it, it's 6 months in, and I'm really enjoying it. I can't see me ever wanting to drink alcohol again. I'll never say never, but I just don't think I want to. So try and think of if there's a time coming up, if this is something you want to try, just try it for one night, just try it for one event and see how it goes, see how people respond. So yeah, that's your quick action for this week. If you want one, entirely up to you. Again, I'm not here to tell you what to do, but if it'll help, an optional action for you is pick that one night out, go, have fun, but just promise yourself you're going to do it with whatever boundaries you want to set. Less alcohol, no alcohol, leaving at a certain time, whatever it is, just give it a go. Set those boundaries, see how people react, and just see how it feels to actually listen to your body and to notice whether things are a positive for you or a negative. Because for me, alcohol, as much as it felt like a positive in the moment, was very much a negative. Very, very much a negative. just before I go, I do want to give some resources because, I am not a doctor. I'm just a human, just sharing my experience in case it resonates with people. If you need further help, obviously, I'm not the person to go to for this. If you want coaching on it, I'm happy to chat. Um, but in general, your GP is where you want to be going if you've got a real problem with alcohol. Like, they're not going to judge you. They can point you towards your local services. There's loads of like charities and services out there as well. I'm going to put links to all these in the show notes, but just to mention them very briefly, you've got Drinkline, that's free and confidential. There's also a Scotland one if you're in Scotland. There's We Are With You. They provide support for people struggling not just with alcohol, but also with drugs and with mental health issues. So they're a really good one for like broader things. Alcohol Change UK. There's Smart Recovery, Alcoholics Anonymous. There's so many of them. I'll put links for them in the show notes again because I'm not a doctor. It's not something I can like professionally help people with. I just want to share my experience in case it helps you. So yeah, that's my episode for this week. I just wanted to be really honest and open with it because, you know what, people at the conference the other week, they really vibed with it and it brought about some really interesting conversations. Same as at the festival that I went to as well. Like, feels like there's an increasing number of people who are stopping drinking, but they're not sure where to start. And yeah, just wanted to share my story. So if that resonates, I really hope it helps. If you've got your own story, you're thinking about trying it, I'd love to hear from you. Also, if you've got questions or suggestions for topics in future episodes, feel free to drop me a message. You can do that at gothboss.co.uk. I will pop the link in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. That was a scary one. That was one that I was a bit intimidated doing, but I wanted to be really honest because it's something that's genuinely changed my life for the better. And yeah, I think the more we talk about these things, the more we're open with struggles. Yeah, the more it's going to help other people, right? So yeah, I hope this has at least helped maybe one of you. I will see you next week for another episode. Until then, bye bye.